Hide it. Hang on. There we go. Ooh. Now. Oh, anyone can think. I'll just give you a bit of this. See, there deserves to be a space to think in, and a space to hear yourself think. That belongs, doesn't it? Anyways, hi. It's Kentaro! As the title states, I'm here to talk about love. And how else could I do it? Other than by referring to parts of my own life, rather than parts of myself. I'm not here to only talk about the biological, though I might bring that up. I'm basically going to bring up the feeling of love. I'm wearing this because it feels alright to me. Sorry about that. Here, I'll bathrobe a bit more for you. There we go. How's that? Alright. Then and there, love might be. As Cupid's arrow ever does. Love might strike you. And at that point, you're going to be with love rather than a lover, because there's still the initial connection that may ever form. First impressions seriously do count, don't they? Now, let's step into the past for a bit. Sometimes, when you're growing up, it might go like this. You know, you'll save, anything that has to do with them. Oh, a lock of her hair. You know, can you see it? Oh my god, there we go. Doink, 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 doink. Doink. Oh, just a lock of her hair. Well, you know, where that phrase came from is most certainly the past. These days, it's usually like, oh, she messaged me at all. And it's not always a her. It might be a he or they. And it still might be anything but a romantic relationship. There are forms of love. And you'll know about this through the course of your life. Wait, no, come back, you know. So, at times you may learn to let go of your cemented thinking, where you're thinking that each and every partnership leads to a romantic relationship. Oh, please. There's at times less to do. There's at times more to do. So you must work on yourself. At times, though, you might already be quite ready. And at that point, you might notice that others might be catching up to where you're at. Still, you know, be patient with others. Give them the time. Give them what they deserve to have in the moment where you're at least relating with them. I'm talking about love because sometimes life does this. Sometimes you end up saying, oh, I love them. Or like, oh, I loved everything about them. Oh, here, take my money. You know, so these days there are plenty of ways to go about it, whatever this loving thing is and does. And, you know, there may be hurt there just ahead of you because of the way in which you're doing it. You might be going about love and loving in a very hurtful way. It might actually be getting too disastrous to even smile about anymore. As in, each date feels like a disaster. Each phone call feels like it's bordering, or teetering on argument, right? And even the glances might feel like, glares. So, that's just approach. That does not mean that a breakup is forming. See that until the relationship is there, any of us may be getting ahead of ourselves here in terms of how we view it. Sometimes people could be telling themselves, oh, we're so in love. Oh, we're meant to be with each other, near each other, etc. Oh, come on. It's us. We'd be perfect. We'd be perfect together. Huh? Like, oh gosh, approval seeking may come about, and at that point, anyone's thinking that they are, so sure that, not only is it going to go, like, just like perfectly. At times, people are also so sure, that they're the one, and so when that's brought up, it may help, at least to turn this over and consider others at least. Note something like this. At a party, who do you notice first? Or who did you notice first? Because if you're already sensing, if there's already the kind of, let's say, rare attraction that already comes about through the eyes, and you're already seeing each other, and your gaze is already meeting the others, at that point, well, you are glancing, you're kind of checking each other out. So then what do you do with that? Well, what's the initial reaction? What comes up first? What's the initial response to someone? Usually you get the heart flutters. I mean, come on, body parts exist. Sorry to the women that can't do this on camera. Anyways, again, enough about body parts. Enough about the physical. Wow. Get out of here with that. Just. Stay with the emotional, and at that point, you're thinking less about someone's physical characteristics. Though there may be plenty that is attractive about someone to you, please be aware of eye contact when you're leering, getting all freaky, creepy wolf whistling coming up. That's going to be known. Oh, karmically at least, akashically at least, that's going to be there. What you give off, what you exude, your vibe, ever deserves to be checked. Vibe check. Please, check on how you are. Not just in the mirror, not just looking into the nearest, clearest thing that you can look at and just like, oh, that's me. Oh, that's so me. Oh, hang on, my nose hair. There's more to do than just work with look. Work with how you feel. If you need to go blind for it, maybe do that outside. Maybe just this is all at the party. This is the hypothetical situation I'm presenting here. Maybe you're at the party, so alright, how about this? How about you just actually step out into the porch, when you feel like you're chaining yourself to people less, and please do that as little as possible, when you can, Why end up being so chained, to another, right? So, anyways, whatever it is that's happening, get it off, seriously, just, you might need to take a bit of a breather, and when you do that, maybe close your eyes, just as soon as you're right at that porch, there's that sliding glass door behind you, and you're just gonna just kind of feel the place, because then, you're there with senses, sure, you're there with sight less though, and at that point you're thinking less about what comes up first in terms of layers, like the superficial, the perfume, their hair, and what she's wearing, and things like that, things of that nature. Then you're, with the sound of someone's voice. I mean, I'm not saying to, switch to blind mode for the rest of the party. That'll freak someone out. Depends what kind of party it is, though, I guess. Just still, What do you get to experience at times? I feel that that's a question to ask, and then you could ask, well, what could you experience, with less of something? Because sometimes reduction can actually give more to you. Senses work like this. It's a known fact that when someone actually has or experiences a handicap in their life, and it could be, something, that's more than that has something more than the usual batch of, sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch. There could be, a little something a little more niche like this. Like maybe you have numbness, only at your fingertips because you've been working with your hands a lot. So I guess touch is going to work out less at that moment in life. Well, how about the rest? And when one loses, their senses in some way or other, when one sense goes, the others build up. And sometimes that's for life, until, the serious stuff comes in and works on that, such as surgery. So back to this party, back to this hypothetical situation, because I'm totally going on a tangent. There's just the idea that, you at least work with eye contact, and being able to stay there with that. Because when you're drifting, you may already come across as sheepish. And at that point, anyone may be sensing that. And believe me, people will pick up on you. Whether or not there's a group that's there that knows each other, whether or not it may be evident the whole time, if you're giving off the vibe that you're just, strange there, and you just, don't really belong. I mean, don't be a try-hard. Just, if it feels like you're out of place, well, you might be in some way or other. That might be your fault. That might not be your fault, though. It just might be due to certain circumstances. Again, though, it might be what you're giving off. And so, this is where you can start to describe attraction. Where attraction is concerned, where there is attraction, where attraction ever comes about, and where there is what you are giving off, well, you may put that together and see that what you are giving off may attract certain instances into your life. So certain entire individuals, certain people may be attracted towards your life based on how you're doing it out there. And so I would rather than, provide you something that's just going to push away the audience that I may ever have on this platform, I'm going to end it, right around this point, because, this is going on quite incessantly. This may be part 1 out of 133. Still, the point is that there's, at times, anything that may be brought up about love. Anyone may talk about love. Well, then there's the doing of it. Then there's just putting this into action. Is this a task? There can be a skill set. Try not to be such a playboy, though, out there, right? Sometimes. Come on. At times, that's so full of sleaze. So, I would say, in closing, let love find you, and do consider just what sort of vibe it is that you are giving off. Because, who knows whom it is that you'll attract in that space, in that moment, even though there may be anyone else present. And how you could have taken that alternate path. Well, if only you had. Well, try not to get stuck there. Try not to get so in your head that you're remembering constantly about everyone it is that you've ever known and all the rejection that you may have ever faced, you know, and any of the rejection that you might have done. Oh, come on now. Please see this as a two-sided thing. I mean, love usually has worked with partners. So anyways, thanks for listening. Because I've gone on quite rambling about this, I'm going to say that this has been Kentaro Rants. Alright, I'm changing the title. Got to. For now. Alright. Okay. It's going to be... Well, it's going to instead be then Kentaro Rants about love. Well, thanks for listening. Bye.